Welcome to the next video in my tree identifying series. This video will look at the firs. 40 varieties of firs exist in the world, 9 are native to North America and 4 are native to Canada. Only one, the balsam fir, is found from Newfoundland to Alberta. The other 3 are western species. Balsam fir, Abies balsamea, is the most common fir in Canada, covering the largest range. It reaches heights of 50 to 70 feet with 1 to 2 foot diameters. It is a short-lived tree and seldom reaches 80 years old. The needles are rounded and from 3/4 to 1 1/4 inches long and dark green. The cone is 2 to 4 inches long with single bracts on the scales. The bark is smooth with resin blisters when young and then maturing to irregular brownish scales. As kids, we used to break the resin blisters with sticks and then put the resinous ends of the stick in a fire and watched it burn. The balsam fir is mostly used for pulp, but some of the larger, healthier trees can be used for lumber. The second most popular use of the balsam fir is for Christmas trees, as they keep their needles longer than the spruce trees and have a really nice smell. They also respond well to shaping. It takes 7 years to grow a proper Christmas tree. The alpine fir, or Abies lasicarpa, is found in the mountain regions of British Columbia, Alberta, and Yukon. It reaches heights of 65 to 100 feet with up to 2.5 feet in diameter. The needles are grayish-green to pale bluish-green and are from 1 to 1 3/4 inches long and curve upwards. The cones are 2.5 to 4 inches long. The bark is smooth ash-gray with resin blisters when young and matures to grayish-brown scales. The wood is harvested for lumber. The amabilis fir, or Abies amabilis, is found exclusively in the coastal regions of BC and grows from 80 to 125 feet in height, with diameters between 2 and 3 feet. The needles are dark green and have white bands on the underside. They range in length from 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 inches. The cones are barrel-shaped and from 3.5 to 5 inches long. The bark is smooth pale gray with resin blisters and matures to a scaly bark. It is a slow-growing tree and takes 100 years to become marketable and then used for pulpwood or saw logs. The grand fir, or Abies grandis, is the rarest of the firs in Canada and is found only in small pockets along the United States-British Columbia border. It is also the largest of the Canadian firs and reaches heights of 125 feet, with 3-foot diameters being common. The needles are from 1 to 2 inches long and are dark green on top with white bands underneath. The cones are cylindrical and 2 to 4.5 inches long. The bark is smooth, grayish-brown with resin blisters when young, but becomes scaly and even with flat ridges 2 to 3 inches thick. If harvested, it is used for lumber. This brings us to the end of the firs. Thanks for watching and join me for the next video, which will look at the hemlocks. See you then.